Stop cracking your knuckles or you'll get arthritis. If you swallow that gum, it's staying in your stomach for 7 years. Dry your hair before you go outside or you'll catch a cold. We've all heard these warnings. They're passed down like family heirlooms, treated as absolute medical truth. And here's the uncomfortable question. At least one of these warnings probably scared you as a kid and might still be living rent-free in your head today. But what if I told you that much of what we know about common health is built on misunderstandings, missing sentences from old reports, and pure folklore? Today, we're putting 4 of the world's most stubborn health myths on trial. Not opinions, not internet arguments, we're going straight to peer-reviewed journals, physician-led experiments, and real human biology. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which warnings to keep and which ones you can finally let go of. Let's start with the one that literally makes people cringe. If you're a habitual knuckle cracker, you've probably been told you're grinding bone on bone or slowly destroying your joints. But what is that sound, really? For years, researchers have pointed to a process called cavitation. When you pull a joint apart, pressure inside the synovial fluid drops. Dissolved gases, mostly nitrogen, rapidly form a bubble. When that bubble forms or collapses, you hear a pop. That sound isn't damage, it's physics. One of the most famous pieces of evidence comes from Dr. Donald Unger. He cracked the knuckles of his left hand at least twice a day for over 50 years, while never cracking his right hand. After decades, he examined both hands for arthritis. The result was no measurable difference. His findings were published in the medical journal Arthritis and Rheumatism. Larger studies support this. Research published in the Journal of the American Board of Family Medicine examined over 200 people and found no link between knuckle cracking and hand osteoarthritis. However, there was some nuance. Habitual knuckle crackers were slightly more likely to experience hand swelling and reduced grip strength. So here's the verdict. Cracking your knuckles does not cause arthritis. If it's painless, evidence does not support the idea that you're destroying your joints. But pain or swelling is your body waving a warning flag. Be honest, are you a knuckle cracker? Let me know in the comments. Coming up next is the myth that terrified every kid who ever swallowed gum by accident. You swallow a piece of gum, and suddenly you're doing math in your head wondering when it'll finally leave your body. The logic seems reasonable. Gum is sticky, it doesn't dissolve, so it must cling to your stomach lining forever, right? Here's the reality. Your digestive system doesn't care whether something is digestible, it cares whether it can be moved. Your gastrointestinal tract uses rhythmic muscle contractions called peristalsis to push contents forward. While your body can't break down the polymer-based gum base, it still moves it along just like fiber or corn. Medical experts from the Mayo Clinic and Duke Health agree that swallowed gum usually passes through your system in 24 to 48 hours. The 7-year rule is folklore, not physiology. There is one exception. In rare cases, mostly involving small children who swallow large amounts of gum frequently, it can form a blockage called a bezoar. But for an occasional swallowed piece, gum is a temporary visitor, not a permanent resident. Did anyone actually believe the 7-year rule growing up, or was it just something adults said? And the next myth is one most people still believe, even after living through a global pandemic. You do get sick more often in winter, but not for the reason most people think. Colds are caused by viruses, not temperatures. You can stand outside with wet hair and freezing weather, but without a virus present, you won't get sick. So why does illness spike in winter? We spend more time indoors, closer together, with poorer ventilation. That creates perfect conditions for viruses to spread from person to person. Here's the twist. Research published in the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology suggests that cold air may slightly weaken your immune response in your nose. Lower temperatures can reduce the effectiveness of microscopic antiviral defenses that normally stop viruses before they take hold. So cold doesn't create illness, but it may lower your shield just enough for a virus to succeed. Wet hair doesn't cause colds. Viruses do, but cold environments can slightly tip the odds. Growing up, were you team wear a coat or team it doesn't matter? And now for the final myth, one that's still repeated by doctors, influencers, and fitness apps. You've heard it, 8 glasses of water a day or you're dehydrated. But where did that number come from?
Most researchers trace it back to a 1945 Food and Nutrition Board report that said adults need about 2.5 liters of water per day. Here's the sentence almost everyone leaves out. Most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods. A major review in the American Journal of Physiology found no solid scientific evidence that healthy adults in temperate climates must drink 8 glasses of plain water daily. Coffee counts, tea counts, fruits and vegetables count. Your body already has a highly evolved hydration sensor. It's called thirst. If you're not thirsty and your urine is pale yellow, you're usually well hydrated. And this part matters. Hydration needs are not the same for everyone. Body size, activity level, climate, medications, and overall health all change how much fluid a person needs. If you have chronic medical conditions such as congestive heart failure, kidney disease, or other conditions that affect fluid balance, your ideal fluid intake may be higher or lower than average. In those cases, hydration should be individualized and guided by your doctor, not a generic rule or an app notification. Forcing yourself to drink beyond your needs doesn't detox your body, it simply makes your kidneys work harder to get rid of the excess. There is no universal 8-glass rule. Listen to your body, and if you have medical conditions that affect fluid balance, follow your physician's guidance. So, let's check today's scoreboard. Knuckle cracking is safe, swallowed gum is temporary, wet hair is only a minor factor, 8 glasses of water is not a universal rule. It's remarkable how much medical knowledge turns out to be tradition repeated often enough to feel true. But when you look at the science, the truth is usually less dramatic and far more reassuring. If this video saved you from worrying about your joints, your gum, or your water bottle, hit the like button. Which of these myths did you grow up believing the most? Drop it in the comments. I read all of them. And one last question. What medical myth still bothers you today? Put it in the comments. I'm building a list for a future episode. Stay curious. Trust the science.